Good morning. Welcome to the Fun Side of Business podcast. I am one of your hosts, Nick Hampton.
And I'm your other host, Gemma Addison. So, Nick, who have we got on the show this morning?
Right, today, I'm not going to go with a big intro for this one because I'm going to leave it more mysterious and we're going to find out more as we go along.
Okay.
Today, we are welcoming in Adele Chaplin, humanist celebrant.
Oh.
Don't even ask.
Okay.
We're going to ask Adele.
Okay.
Morning, Adele.
Morning,
How are
Adele.
you?
Morning, I'm fine. How are you?
Okay, so go on. Give me the full title that you were trying to get me to say.
I'm a humanist celebrant, non-religious pastoral support volunteer and school speaker. Basically, a humanist celebrant, a humanist chaplain, and someone who talks to kids.
Okay.
Why didn't you say that, Nick?
Because the thing is, if I didn't know Adele beforehand and we haven't had this conversation, I would still be going, what?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you know what? Actually, we're going to go reverse. This is our podcast. We do what we like.
Of course we do.
I don't even want to talk about school now.
We want to know what...
We want to talk about what a humanist celebrant is, so that when people then go, oh, now let's go back and hear the story, because otherwise they're not going to care where the story is.
Yeah,
because, yeah. So what does a humanist celebrant do?
So a humanist, as much as a humanist celebrant, is someone who doesn't believe in any kind of higher power afterlife. I don't believe in God. I don't believe in fairies. I don't believe in ghosts or anything like that. I believe this is it. We have one life, that's it. When it's done, it's done.
Okay.
And I am a firm believer that people should have moments in their life that are appropriate to their beliefs. So for me, having a non-religious funeral or a wedding, really important. And I help facilitate those.
Amazing. Did you ever hear Ricky Gervais's theory on religion?
I have.
Okay,
It's
I love
very
that, by
good.
the way.
It's very good.
Oh, I
yes.
haven't.
I'm going to give that one anyway. So I
haven't.
think he came out with it, and someone who, I don't know, they were following Buddhism or whatever, and he said, so let me get this straight, there's like 4,000 religions on the planet, but you discard 3,999 of them because yours is the only one true religion, right? And they go, yeah. And he goes, well, we basically have the same belief. I just discard 4,000 of them. We're only one apart.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So while they disbelieve on 3,999, he's just plus one.
Yeah. Fair enough.
There we go. Anyway, right. Okay. So do you know, I just want to ask like 100 questions on like what you actually do, but we're not. We're now going to tease this one.
Okay, so now we know what it is.
Yes.
Let's go back.
Let's go to school.
Yes.
Okay. Adele, I'm guessing that you've got some kind of Scottish heritage, maybe.
No.
Just a little,
Smidge.
just a little bit. Yes. What gave you that impression?
Okay, the new. That's what gave me that impression.
Oh, dear. You'll pay for that later. You know that.
Okay, so school, was it? I mean, I'm guessing, I mean, here's the thing. We're in Suffolk now, so there's going to be some kind of journey back, but school was Scotland?
Yeah, school was Scotland, both primary and secondary school. Secondary school in Scotland is done differently to secondary school in English. In England, that's the thing I'm realising at the moment with a teenager who's going through his GCSEs. But in Scottish secondary schools, you stay at the same school the whole way through your school for all 6 years.
Okay.
Okay.
And it
Hang on, but do we have, at our age, we had 5 or 7?
We had...
Yeah, because you had 5 years high school and 2 sixth form.
Yeah, see, we don't have sixth form.
Yeah.
We stay at
So they
secondary
stay
school
for the whole
Okay.
time, yeah.
right through the whole thing. And it gets more formal as you go up to school. So whereas in England, you wear less uniform and you wear your jeans and you go to school
Yeah,
that way.
it gets less formal.
In Scotland, this is the complete opposite. You know, you go up to school, you're given more responsibilities. You get to wear a blazer and all that.
But I agree with that
Okay.
because it prepares for work.
Yeah.
I like that way round.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
yeah,
do.
guess what? Scotland have got that right.
Yeah. So yeah, I went to Downfield Primary School, went to Morgan Academy. I sat what they call standard grades, which are the equivalent of GCSEs.
Mhm.
And then I sat higher exams, which are the equivalent of A-levels. And eventually I got 3 of them, having failed them all the first time round because I was a bit lazy.
Okay, so school was it was okay, but not a huge passion and drive
Didn't
for
love it.
Okay.
Let's face it, it's I went every day and, you know, I
Did you have to?
put up with it. And I had a
So she's one up on quite a lot of our guests, to be fair.
Yeah.
I put up with it. I had a small circle of good friends and a larger circle of people I couldn't really care less about.
Yeah.
And
I think it sounds like you.
who are not going to be listening to this podcast, so I don't mind.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
But yeah,
Don't listen them off just in
Nah,
case.
that's it. But
Yeah.
no, I got through it, and left at the end of 6th year.
Okay. So right, I'm just going to throw random questions at
Go
you.
for it.
So at school, certainly at my school, even though it wasn't a Catholic school or anything else like that, there were still hymns and what have you.
Yeah, absolutely. We had.
Did you have like you had a religious belief then, or you just sort of went, I just go along with it?
I was raised in the Church of Scotland, which is a very strict Presbyterian, hard seats, no painting on the walls, no stained glass, very cold Calvinist kind of religion. As I grew up, my parents started sort of pulling away from the church a bit. They just couldn't be bothered going and that kind of thing. And I went through, until I was about 15, I was at church. I was going to Bible study and things like that. And then about that age, I had a sort of, I don't want to call it crisis of faith because it wasn't even that. I just thought, this is all a bit rubbish.
Okay.
And I had a fabulous RE teacher at school called Mr. Bone, who I still remember to this day, who said to me, I get where you are. Off you go. I'm going to set you a project. Where you go? Go to the sort of 6 main religions in Dundee, where I come from. Find out about them. Write me a project. Tell me all about them. So I did that, and I wrote this great big piece of paper and sort of wrote it all out. I got a 1 for it, which is a good thing. And he said to me at the end of that, so which one of these do you believe in? And I said, well, actually, none of them.
Okay.
And he said, yeah, congratulations, you're probably an atheist. And so I went through a large amount of my life thinking I was an atheist and not really having any other handle to hang myself on until I was a student, a sort of mature student, and I found humanism and thought, actually, that's my thing.
That's more me.
That's me. I'm not just someone who doesn't believe in someone. I do believe in things. It's just not the higher power that lots of people believe. And so that's where I hang.
So that's one of those things. It's like you believe in not having a belief.
Yeah, I believe in people.
Yeah,
I believe that people are the answer to everything.
Okay, so let's deal with the work. So you've left school.
Yep.
What came after school?
I went to the Northern College of Education, also in Dundee, to study community education. It was a 3-year course. I studied 3 years and I failed the end of it.
Oh God.
So what's community education?
So community education is youth work, sort of working with people in the community. So age provision, dementia care, that kind of thing. You're running community
So everything
centres.
from like old to young and
right
everything
through,
in between.
from baby groups right through to working in care homes. Youth workers, community workers, all that kind of thing. And I did it and I went through it because when I was at school, I'd been volunteering at a young person's kind of community centre. And I enjoyed that. And I thought this would be great. And actually, by the time I got to the end of my 3rd year of that course, I thought this is not actually what I want to be doing at all.
Yeah.
But by that point, I was 3 years committed to this 3-year course. And I failed my dissertation. And I wrote it twice and I failed it twice. So down the toilet it went.
Okay.
And off I went to join the merry world of work.
So stayed in Dundee, I'm guessing?
Stayed in Dundee for a bit. I started doing all manner of strange and wonderful jobs. I sold windows, I sold gas, I worked in the local library.
So all these like telesales
like
things.
Yeah,
and...
knocking on doors in the winter, all that kind of thing. Hello, would you like to have some windows done? Yeah, I've had more doors shut on me than, I memorably remember going round and knocking on doors the day after Princess Diana was killed. And that was just, that was one of these days where I knocked on every door and everybody went, what are you doing? Shut the door in my face. But, there we go. It taught me a good lesson.
Did it impact Scotland?
Kind of someone.
Same as it did in England?
Yeah, it was my 21st birthday.
Oh, okay.
So it impacted my birthday because we couldn't go to the pub afterwards. Everybody was glum.
Everyone was grieving.
Yeah, it did hit Scotland, but probably not as much as it hit England, if I'm honest. But I've done all that. And then I decided maybe I should go back to college or university, and I applied as a mature student to do computing.
Okay.
With the assistance of my lovely husband. He wasn't my lovely husband at the time, he was my lovely boyfriend. I applied and got accepted as a mature student to the University of Aberdeen to do computing.
Okay.
And
was that just general or?
Yeah, it was just a very general computing course teaching you C programming and all that kind of thing back in the dim and distant past of that. Did a couple of years of that, and then I didn't finish that course either because I moved to Suffolk. Because
as you do.
I was going to say, how do you find yourself going from like Aberdeen and Dundee and what have you
to Suffolk?
My husband is the reason. It's his fault. It's all his fault.
All his fault.
Okay.
He moved down here for a job with BT.
Okay.
And 8 months after he moved down, I came down with him. And my intention was to transfer my degree down here and finish it down here. But unfortunately, as with everything else in Scotland, the degree system's different as well. So we do 4-year degrees rather than 3-year degrees. So if I had transferred and come down to a university down here, I would have had to start again from the beginning. Mm-hmm. And I kind of thought, nah, you're all right.
There's no way.
I cannot be bothered with that in the slightest. I'm just going to go and get a proper job, which I did. I went to Schlumberger, as they were then, in Felixstowe, working as a sort of secretary come call centre kind of agent. Schlumberger, they make electricity meters.
Okay.
Yeah, they're now called something else. They were called Actress for a while. You look on your electricity meter, it will say Actress or Schlumberger.
Okay.
And it'll have been made in a factory. So yeah, everybody will go and look at their electricity meter now. Or your gas meter. They're quite often Schlumberger meters as well. But I was just running.
So you're back to sales and
running their engineers and putting out calls and doing fault calls and that kind of thing. Worked my way through that for a little bit. Decided that was not for me. And as I was deciding it was not for me, they decided to make us all redundant. Wonderful, because I then just sat around and thought.
So the plan where you were going to clear off, they just paid you to clear off as well?
They paid me to clear off. It was lovely.
Yeah. Got it.
They paid me to go on job interviews, everything. It was so heartbreaking. It really was.
How did you survive that period?
You know, it was devastating.
Oh, no, my job's gone and they're just going to pay me all this money to do what I was going to do anyway, yeah.
Yeah. So I started out doing interviews. They, in fairness to them, they did pay me to go to interviews. You know, they didn't have any problem with that. They threw me out whenever I wanted to go and interview. Went for an interview for Norwich Union. Norwich, doing, again, secretarial kind of minute taking for meetings, that kind of thing. And I was late for that job interview. I will never forget. I was
had the
half an hour
A140.
late.
Did you do the train? Or
No, I drove up. That was fine. I got on a bus at the parking ride, which dropped me out in the centre of Norwich. I got out the bus and thought, I have no idea where this office block is. And I was walking around in circles for ages before I found a postie and went, Norwich Union. And he went, oh, you're miles away. It's over there. So I got there eventually, half an hour later. As it turned out, they were delighted I was half an hour late because they were running an hour late, I think. So it gave them a chance to go and get a cup of tea and go for a pee and all the things you need to do between interviews. And I got the job, working with a small team at Norwich Union with a great boss called Jenny who hired me. And I was taking minutes for her meetings, doing general secretary stuff, bits and pieces. And then when I was there, I got the opportunity to start working on a departmental website. I had done website design all the way through kind of as a hobby with my husband. And so I jumped on that and I was doing this. And slowly but surely that evolved in the job at Norwich Union. There was various restructures and I always managed to fall on my feet. And I went through all these things like the capability maturity model. I was in a team that was rolling that out. But all the while, this website thing was rattling along in the background. And I was working on these department websites in the background. And then I was given the opportunity to do that full time for them and become the kind of person in charge of this cluster of group websites, which I did, which was wonderful. Unfortunately, I acquired a boss who was not so wonderful.
Not quite Jenny.
Let's put it that way. Yeah, not quite Jenny.
Not Jenny.
And there was more than a little friction there that involved me getting ill because of the stress I was under, and I thought this is not enough. And so I was given an underperforming in my one-to-one, and I thought, and then they sideways moved me into another bit of the business. And that was the point where I thought, nah, you're all right. I'm going to look for a new job. That's fine. I have no problem with that. And you know, my new team were wonderful, but I didn't want to be there.
Would it be fair to say at this point, you've kind of gone from thing to thing to thing to thing to try and find and try and find the place where you're happy, and obviously Norwich Union wasn't it?
That's it. Well, Norwich Union was great. That team were...
Norwich Union was great.
Jenny Norwich Union was great. And other bits of Norwich Union I worked in were great as well. It was just that one boss who wasn't that great. I loved doing the website stuff. The teams I worked with doing that were fantastic. It was just that friction of what was going on. And it was slowly becoming more of a sort of marketing and communication job, which wasn't really what I'd signed up for. I'd signed up for crunching the code and playing with the bits in the background. And I didn't really want to be doing fluffy stuff like writing magazines and all that kind of thing. That came later. But I decided to move on, and I was going again for interviews, and I left Norwich Union to work for a small company in Chelmsford.
Travelling's clearly not a problem for you then.
Oh, I love driving. I love driving. I just jump in my motor and off I go. You know me, I love my cars. Yeah, I've no problem with travelling at all. I've always commuted for work. It gets better. Wait till I get further down the line. It's an even better commute than there is going to Chelmsford.
What'd you do? I went back to Dundee. You moved?
Quite.
No, just worked.
Every day.
Not quite, but yeah, Chelmsford worked for this tiny little company, but they went bust.
Okay.
Overnight, bang. Very small company, went bust, and I went with them, Got a phone call one day. I was in Dundee. I got a phone call saying, I've got to read this statement. And I thought, oh, I know what that means.
Here we go.
Here we go again.
Heard this before.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, do you know what? I'm not coming back on Monday. I'll take a bit longer with your mum. That's fine.
Yeah.
And that was the point. Actually, that was a really good point in my life because that was the point where I decided to become a contractor.
Okay.
And I thought, actually, I can, why am I looking for a full-time permanent job?
Yeah.
Why am I not doing this myself? And it was something we'd played around with the idea for a while. And I thought, right, let's take the leap. So we did. I started with an umbrella company and got a job with the BBC at White City in London. Even more commuting.
Right, now we're back. Now we're in London.
Now you're in London.
You drive that one as well?
No, I didn't. I got the train on that one. I used to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, get the 6:20 train into London, out to White City. I worked at White City, not a television centre. I worked in the building where they used to film the One Show.
Okay.
Every day, meeting Jeremy Clarkson in the lift and Dawn French in the toilets and things like that. It's one of these. It's a strange place to work.
That's a whole nother podcast coming up.
It's a fabulous.
So there's one time with me and Dawn French in the toilets. Yeah.
Honestly, she comes up to about my belly button. It's great. But I worked there, and I was doing genuine, proper website stuff there. I was working on what they called the delivering quality standards for television, and that was the team who were developing the standards for high definition television.
Okay.
And I was doing all their website stuff because they had, obviously everything was recorded online for people to come in and commission TV programs and things like that. So I was doing all of that. And that was fantastic. I was there for a couple of years as a contractor. That contract came to an end, as it does. And so I went even further over London. I went to the National Archives at Kew in Richmond.
Okay.
And I was commuting there every day.
That's not far Twickenham, is it?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Taxi drivers used to be amazed at me when I'd get in their taxi and tell them where I'd come from, until we realised that actually Ipswich to Richmond took about the same amount of time as Lewisham to Richmond.
Yeah.
So actually, it's not that stupid a commute, really. No. Well, it is a stupid commute. But and I was working there, again, doing website stuff, but more touchy-feely. I was working for the education department and I was writing online lessons for schools, things like that. So it was good, but it was still website stuff, still web development, all the rest of it. And then when that contract ended, I stopped working because at that point I was pregnant. And you can't commute when you're pregnant, or not that distance.
Not that distance,
yeah. And so I stopped working, and I stopped working, had a break of working for about 5 years, just because you can't commute when you've got a baby. And once you're out of the web field, you're out. Mm-hmm. I'd had 5 years of not being behind a computer and not playing with the latest technology. Everything had moved on a pace. And I bet it changes so quickly. And it all changes so fast. There was no way of me getting back into that easily.
Yeah.
And so I thought, right, I need to find something else that I'm going to do. What am I going to do? And I sat there for a bit and I thought about training as a driving instructor because I'd been an advanced driving instructor for a while.
And you hated driving, clearly.
Yeah, I loathe driving. Yeah, I hate driving. So I'd done that. I thought, no, I didn't want to do that. I thought about setting up one of these driving Miss Daisy franchises and thought I couldn't be bothered with that. That was just too much faff. And one day I was just sitting, I was fiddling with stuff, and I'd been a member of Humanist UK since I was a student, so since I was about 25, 26. And something popped up on their Facebook page saying, have you ever thought about training as a funeral celebrant? And I thought,
I haven't gave you this one a go yet.
No, but actually I think I'd be pretty good at that. And I did that thing that parents do, standing in the playground with your mates and saying, I was thinking about this, what do you think? And everybody to a man went, yeah, you'd be dead good at that. Apart from my husband who went, what? But he came round eventually. Everybody else said, yeah, we think you should do that. You should give it a shot. So I did. And I trained, first of all, to take funerals, then to take weddings, then to do chaplaincy and school speaking, all that kind of thing. And I haven't looked back. I've done it for 10 years.
Wow.
Love it. Best job in the world.
So, okay, now we can ask the questions about the actual job and what you do.
Yeah.
Okay, so describe the differences. Again, I obviously have a bit more of an insight of what you do, but describe the differences between a traditional wedding and a humanist wedding. So
the biggest difference is that at the moment, a humanist wedding is not legal.
Okay.
That's hopefully going to change. The government have said they're going to change that. But at the moment, it's not legal.
So a standard wedding would be registry office, but then do a humanist celebration.
Yeah. So your legal options in the UK at the moment is you can have a registry office wedding, which is a standard shaped service, 20 minutes long, something like that, fairly generic in content. It's not that. It's tailored a little bit to you. They have bits and pieces. You can choose things, but it's fairly generic. It's fairly cookie cutter. Or you can have a priest or a vicar marry you. Usually, vicars are the only people who are guaranteed to be allowed to legally marry you. Most priests are registered as well. You can have an imam, something like that. But otherwise, you need to have the registrar service and then your own service. So then that's when you have somebody like me come in to do a humanist wedding. And humanist weddings are much more geared around the people involved in the wedding. So, a religious wedding will, by right, contain information about God and about their beliefs and that kind of thing. And a lot of it will be about thanking God and praising and things like that. My service is all about how they got drunk and fell down the stairs and landed up on each other's knee, and that's how they decided to start dating and that kind of thing, So it's much more couple-focused and couple-centered.
Question, are there vows involved in a humanist?
There can be, if they want them. Sometimes they're lovely, traditional, normal. Yeah. Sometimes there are things like, I promise not to leave my socks on the floor. I promise not to play the PlayStation for 4 hours.
So it is literally
it can
as
be
personal
whatever
as
you want it to be. Yeah, and there's a big long process that goes in with me with couples where I talk to them and I find out all sorts of things about them. I ask them all sorts of questions and get all sorts of information from them. And from that, I build up a picture of what they're like and how humorous they are. And so some ceremonies I do are very traditional, big white dress, lots of bridesmaids. Do you promise to love each other forever? Yes, we do. Thank you very much. Put your rings on, kiss the bride.
Okay.
Other ones have got wands and explosion. I did a Harry Potter wedding a few years ago that had an owl flying in wedding rings, and we had wands and spells and explosions and puffs of smoke and everything. It's fantastic. It's whatever the couple wanted.
What's the most elaborate one you've done other than the Harry Potter one?
Other than the Harry Potter one, I don't
know how you top that.
I don't think she can. That's why I thought I'd go to something.
That's the top of the pops. That one. But I did one this summer that's just passed that was fantastic, which was for a couple of burlesque artists. And it had fire breathing and...
So it's like a Moulin Rouge type thing, celebration.
Yeah, we were outside the big meadow. There was a gorgeous backdrop that they'd had hand crocheted behind me, and there was bubbles and rose petals flying everywhere. And they had live music, and their friends were all doing burlesque and, like I said, fire breathing and juggling and all sorts of things. It's just a brilliant 2 day. It was a whole 2 day wedding. I was not there for both days, but I was there for a chunk of one of the days, and it was just fantastic.
So effectively, if things change, so when you say things are changing, what's the process right now?
So the government last month made an announcement that they were enacting a piece of wedding reform, which means that people of a specific faith, including humanists, will be allowed to legally marry. Yay! Unfortunately, they've also said it has to go through a consultation process. We've gone through 7 of those already. I can't see what's going to be different about this one. But in the new year, they're going to run a consultation process, and then they're going to enact, hopefully, a little bit of law that means very quickly they can make the change and we can legally marry people in England and Wales.
So then they wouldn't need the registrar bit first?
No.
It could actually happen on that?
I would do the whole thing for them. And humanists have been legally marrying people in Scotland since 2008, I think, something like that, for a long time anyway. Likewise, Jersey, Guernsey, Ireland all have legal humanist marriages. It's only England, Wales and Isle of Man that don't. So, fingers crossed.
I think that would be, I think that's such a nice thing, because you're not even having that, we have to not do that or not do that. You just are creating the wedding that you want.
Well, this is why I asked about if there's vows or certain words that have to be said. If you scrap all that, it's just personal, isn't it?
It is. And it also means, on the very practical side, it means that people aren't paying for 2 weddings, which is what they have to do at the moment. They have to pay £750 to the registrar and then £750 to me. It's not fair in any way, shape or form.
And I guess there's no, because again, I think if you got married the traditional way, there's people who get married in churches that don't really believe in it anyway. They just blag what they need to say to get the church wedding.
And it's church wedding, isn't it?
But then it's almost like, you must wear this suit and you must do this and you must do this.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing when it's a humanist one, if you want to dress as Harry Potter and, or you want to do it based as being Klingons.
You would have loved getting married in your tracksuit, right?
Yes. I kept saying to Doris I was going to turn up in Adidas poppers.
We wore trainers. I had trainers on for my wedding.
I know you did.
Yeah, I have no problem with anybody wearing anything. And I mean, we've taken all sorts of humanist weddings over the years. I'm sure there's been nudist ones and all the rest of it, not my cup of tea. You don't want to see me.
Have you done? You haven't done it.
I haven't done a nudist one. You don't want to see me with no clothes on. I promise you, that would put off anybody from their wedding at all. But I always say to couples, I'm game for pretty much anything. You're not going to get me up a tree, and you're not going to get me jumping out of a plane. But other than that, I'll give anything a shot. Really, you know.
That's amazing.
Is there any ideas that someone's come to you with and you've said no?
No. I really pride myself on saying yes as much as I can.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't see why we should be saying no. It's not my day. I don't get to dictate what they do. If they want to do it, fine, I'll make it happen.
It's their day.
Okay, so give us some calamities that's happened. Because I guess there's a massive difference, right? So when you get married in a church, I think because you've got, and if I go with a typical one, right? And you might have a princess bride or a real diva husband or whatever you've got. And everything has to be perfect and everything has to be just so and everything has to be amazing. And everyone's wedding should be. But I guess when you're having like a humanist thing and you've got, people dressing up with Harry Potter and a owl that's not going to fly across or a spell that doesn't go off or a explosion that doesn't happen, it's not quite that, oh my God, the princess bride is then going to run into the toilet in tears and because everyone's got that.
They're all a bit more cool about it. It's not quite so uptight and everything. But we still have crises. There are still zips that burst and, people who drop their glasses down the toilet and things like that. And, folk who spill red wine down their dress just before the bride walks down the aisle. It happens. It happens in every wedding. Yeah. And, you just handle it and deal with it.
But I just have that thing that I kind of, as a humanist wedding, I have a sneaking suspicion they'll just roll with it better.
Yeah.
Than in this church thing where you go, oh, hang on, it's a 500-year-old church that we've promised to get married in and like we need the picture and you spill red wine.
And the bride's like, oh my gosh, my day's ruined.
Yeah.
That's it. But they're much more cool about it and also I think sometimes it's someone like me who's there as the person in charge who kind of goes, look, it's fine, it doesn't matter, we're just going to do this. And they kind of go, okay, somebody's in charge, that's fine.
And if you're laid back with it, it's going to...
If I just kind of say, it's fine, nobody's going to bother about it. Nobody's going to notice.
Okay, and I'm guessing the same concept applies to funerals, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
So we know someone who's a funeral director.
I forgot about that side of it, yeah.
And he does...
Be with him soon.
There we go. and he does, you see these things where he'll post on social media where he's done a coffin with this or a procession with Harley Davidsons or, whatever it may be. And I'm guessing...
I wore a West Ham shirt this morning to take a service.
Really?
Yep.
Well, there we go.
So is it exactly the same
You're
concept?
Fascinated, right?
Well, I am fascinated. I've got so many questions. So is it the same concept with a funeral where you take out all the necessary wording or is it just, again, you just tailor it to...
Every single wedding and every single funeral I do starts with a blank page. So I don't write anything until I've met with the couple or the family.
Yeah.
If I'm meeting with a family, I'll meet with them. I will go through all the logistics of what we expect to happen. I mean, there's certain things you expect to happen at a wedding, but more so at a funeral. It's very much more you expect it to be a certain shape.
Yeah.
Is there anything you wouldn't do at a funeral?
No.
If someone wanted to go and like make the coffin knock?
Fine.
A knocking coffin.
Just imagine that. You're going through the ceremony and then suddenly you hear like...
We've had... Yeah, we've had it. I've done it.
No.
I had a chat once. We did a green burial out at the green burial site at Rabness in Essex, and they'd got a clip of him going, "Let me out," and we played it.
Oh my, that was I could
we played
never.
That was what the family wanted, so I did it.
Okay.
We also had his artificial leg on top of the coffin instead of flowers.
Okay, so I've got a question for you.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh my gosh.
So, and I remember this because I'm sure, and I don't think it was you, but I was on a panel with another celebrant, the University of Suffolk. And it was, I can't remember, it was about careers or something or whatever. And someone asked, would you do a celebrant funeral prior to someone dying?
Yes.
Where, so what they had is they had a scenario where I think it was either one that's been done or it was one that they were going to do. But it was someone who I think was terminal.
I guess someone who's ill.
They knew they kind of had, 6 months or less.
And they want to be at their own funeral.
But rather than like not being able to attend and what have you, they wanted to have that, well, I want to be their final hurrah. And everyone can say their goodbye to me, but they can say their goodbye to me while I'm alive.
So you think about it, you have
rather than say their goodbye afterwards.
That are said about people after
they
they're
never
dead
get to
and
hear.
they can
But then
never hear
I
them.
get that. I think that's amazing. I actually really love that concept. But would they still not have a funeral? Because you're still going to want to say goodbye once they've gone. There's still
usually
going to be
one
something. So
afterwards,
that
but
person's kind of getting two parties, aren't they?
Yeah, but isn't that just an unattended cremation or something?
It can be.
Yeah.
They just have an unintended cremation, but have
They're getting more and more popular now.
But have a while they're still there.
Have the whole.
Have a.
I like
proper
that
funeral
concept.
service.
Yeah, they're called living funerals. I haven't taken any yet, but I have no problem with them. I think they're a great idea. Yeah. You might as well tell the person how much you loved them while you still do it.
Or that you didn't.
Or that you didn't.
Or that you didn't.
Yeah.
Listen, I've done my fair share of ones where they didn't like the person.
Have you had people actually...
Yeah, and part of the thing with a funeral service is it needs to be authentic. There's no point sitting there saying, everybody loved him. He was such a lovely person, when actually he really wasn't.
A bit of a dick, yeah.
Just a bit of an annoying so-and-so,
Don't look at me when you say that, John.
Yeah. You wait till I'm at yours.
She's already written your eulogy.
Yeah.
It's okay, don't worry. I've got it in a file.
I've already sent it over.
It's easy. It says 2 words. Bell end. Yeah.
Easy.
Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. Yeah, don't worry. I'm on top of it. It's fine. But yeah, I'm game for everything. I had an acid house funeral a couple of years ago, which was fantastic. Where we we played lots of really sweary, loud music, and everybody was dancing in the aisles and everything.
And
great.
rave and everything.
Yeah. But this is what you're so great at, because you are so open-minded.
Yeah.
You can see why she's perfect for this. You found your calling, definitely.
Well, I am not a subtle and understated person. I mean, the fact I've turned up today in a jacket that makes me look like Elmo probably says everything you need to know. And I'm kind of known for that. Most of the guys round about here know me as that loud and out there person, because that's often what families want.
So can people request you to dress a certain way for
I
their
always
funerals and
ask
weddings?
them what they want
what do you want me to wear?
Yeah, I'll always say to them, is there a dress code? Do you want me to wear something in particular? Often they'll just say, oh, don't wear black, or can you wear something colourful or something like that? Yeah. And that's fine, I do that. But, like this morning's one, the person was a West Ham fan, so I said, well, I've got a West Ham shirt in the cupboard. Do you want me to put that on? Yeah. Great.
Oh.
And I've got a whole raft of football shirts. I've got a whole range of them for whatever club you want. Man United, no problem at all. Yeah.
Hang on, who did you support in Dundee?
Dundee United.
Okay, would you wear the other Dundee?
If they asked me to.
Okay.
Yeah, the rivalry between Dundee and Dundee United is not huge. I mean, it is there, but it's not a huge one. It's not.
Okay, they haven't got one with like Kilmarnock or Hearts or
and Hibs or
Dumbarton or something.
No, we're all pretty good. Okay. Aberdeen, maybe,
Wouldn't wear the red of Aberdeen?
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, no. I do.
Depends if we put an extra zero on the invoice.
Depends how much I can charge extra for that. But no, I think it's important that I can help them by doing that. It's they find it comforting sometimes.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I think it's nice because ultimately you can do the final farewell and there's not going to be a restriction.
No, that's it.
So somebody can't say, oh, actually, we can't do that because it's a church, or we can't do that because of the graveyard, or because of, the rules at the crematorium or what have you.
Box, isn't there, where you can't,
Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting in a service just now that's been passed to me because it was a religious service and the family were too constrained by the religious service and what they were allowed to do, and they didn't like that, so it's come back to me instead.
Nice.
No problem at all.
And I'm guessing it's not the same restrictions that you get with weddings.
No, it's
it's not like, oh by the way, I've dealt with the funeral, but they're not officially dead until they do another service, and then they're like,
until I've planted them, they're not there. No, it's fine. There's no restrictions with a funeral. There's no legal requirement to even have a funeral. So what you do is entirely up to you. You don't have to have any kind of celebrant at all.
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna throw you a curveball.
Go on.
If you got married again, how would you want your ceremony to be?
Not that far off what I had, to be perfectly honest. My only change probably was that when I got married 20 years ago, I only had the choice of having a Church of Scotland vicar or a registrar marry me. That was it. There were no celebrants. They didn't exist. So the registrar came to my venue. And actually...
We're not going to say it's before 2008. We're just going to say there weren't any, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we'll go with that.
But we actually held off getting married until they changed the law in Scotland so that we could have a registrar come to our venue that we wanted. Because the year that before we got married, you had to go to a registry office and get married in that horrible room with the fire escape sign and all the rest of it. So I think the only change I would probably make is to maybe have a celebrant rather than the registrar. But even then, it was pretty good our day. It was pretty much exactly what we wanted.
And is your husband, is he a humanist as well? Is he?
No, he's... Not really entirely sure what he is.
Whatever.
He just kind of muddles along and doesn't really believe in anything, which is fair enough,
Fine.
He does IT.
Yeah,
he does IT.
He's a pointy-headed sandal wearer. If he hears me tell him that, I'll get in trouble now. He's not a pointy-headed sandal wearer. He's lovely. He's high management IT. He's very, very complicated.
We're going to send him this episode later.
Yeah, I know you are. I know you are.
Yeah, or just edit it out.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, because obviously we tell everyone we're going to edit it out and we just release it.
I knew you used to lose it anyway. I know that's.
Okay, what about your funeral?
Well, interestingly, as part of the training for Humanist UK, you have to consider what you would do at your funeral. You have to pick the music for your funeral and all that kind of thing. So
Did you go with like Relight My Fire at the crematorium or something?
I haven't gone for Relight My Fire, but I did pick 3 pieces of music. I picked They Might Be Giants to come into the chapel too. I picked a song by my friend, Michael Mara, as my reflection music, and I picked 500 Miles by the Proclaimers as my exit music.
I love that.
I love that song.
When I wake up,
that's the one.
well, I know I'm going to be.
I liked it because it was a happy song and it would make everybody stomp their feet and, smile. When
and
you
do
left
really
the chapel.
bad Scottish accents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, well,
You have to do that.
the Proclaimers have got a really bad Scottish accent, so, it's...
You're going to find out, it's like, hang on, the Proclaimers, they're Scottish. Like, no, they're from Surrey.
Yeah.
They just had a really good PR company that went, yeah, it's all right, we'll just put these glasses on you
Give you a really bad
sound
guitar.
and give you the worst Scottish accents possible.
I sat on a plane with them once. They really have got accents like that.
Whereabouts are they from?
They're from sort of the West Coast. They're sort of over... Oh, no, they're not. They're Edinburgh way, because that's why they sing about sunshine on Leith.
Oh,
Sort of that kind of way. But it's a very strong accent, as opposed to mine, which is lovely and
Do you
refined.
still go back often?
I do, and I become completely incoherent when I've gone home. My accent changes it enormously.
Are you still accepted as a Scot in Scotland?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Still accepted.
No, honestly, it was like the first time I ever went to Scotland. And the first time I ever went to Scotland, it was like, I did the same thing in Ireland. I didn't realise how, like, in certain places, English are so hated.
Yeah,
they
like,
really are.
properly hated.
See, I've never been to Scotland. That's one place I really want to go. But Ireland, I know there's certain
where.
parts.
Yeah,
but now I'm worried about going to Scotland.
No, Scotland's fine.
The Scottish people are lovely until they find out you're English, and then they're not so lovely.
Just tell them you're Welsh. It's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I do. I get very thick. My accent gets really strong. I had a cub camp a couple of weeks ago, and I met a chap from Dundee on that camp, and my other leaders just kind of went, "What? Can't understand the word you're saying now." So yeah, it's my accent gets quite strong quite quickly.
Adele, I think.
Brilliant.
I'm kind of blown away.
I've loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adele, thank you so much for coming on.
So much,
very
Adele.
welcome.
You've been an absolute superstar. Okay, and if somebody wants to reach out to you,
Google the Ipswich Celebrant.
the Ipswich Celebrant.
The easiest way to find me.
There we go.
Perfect. Adele, thank you so much.
No problem.
Cheers,
Thanks for
Adele.
having me.
Thank you for listening to the Fun Side of Business podcasts, brought to you by NEIT for any of your IT requirements. Why not catch Nick and Jem on the Extra Slice, available to all our subscribers? Thanks for listening.